Hi, I'm Dr. Lee George, founder of Freedom, a strategic branding and marketing agency. Thanks for joining me today. I have a question for you. Why does it seem that marketers are constantly being told to be obsessed with attention? It seems like everywhere we turn, we're told that we're competing in this attention economy, and that to win customers, we need to break through the noise and capture people's attention. And it doesn't matter if you work for a B2B, a B2C, a nonprofit, an association, or for the government. We're told our very success depends on our ability to capture people's attention. And how are we supposed to do that? By creating more content, publishing it in more places more often. It's exhausting. What happens when the numbers are down one month? What does your boss say, or their boss's boss? It's crank out more, put out more content, publish it in more places, do it more frequently. The pressure is on to create mountains of content all the time. And if, I don't know, for some reason, your customer unsubscribes or blocks or tries to avoid you because maybe they're getting too many communications from you, what's your answer then? You just keep pushing out more content. It's relentless and it's stressful and the pressure is intense. Am I right? So to make matters worse, you're not only competing against other companies like yours who produce the same products and services for people's attention. No, of course, because that would be too easy, right? You're also competing against your friend's dog, a yoga instructor in Hudson Valley, New York, an astrologer in Las Vegas, a home cook in Los Angeles, all those creators who are pushing out tons of content to an insanely passionate fan base, a fan base so passionate that brands could only dream of that. So as I started thinking about that more and more, this terrible thought invaded my dreams, and I don't know, it may be causing nightmares for you too, but that thought was this. With so much content out in the world, why would anyone pay attention to anything that brands have to say? Why would anyone pay attention to anything that brands have to say? And as I sat with this terrifying prospect, something became crystal clear. While brands think of media as a place to sell stuff, consumers don't think of media that way. For consumers, media is a place to create. It's a place to be entertained. It's a place to be informed. And so what I realized is that it's not that creators have somehow figured out some hack to capture people's attention. That's not why people love their content so much. People love creator content because it's valuable. It helps them. It makes their lives easier. It entertains them. And so that is why brand content is avoided. People unsubscribe from it. They block it. It's not because brands aren't doing a good job capturing people's attention. It's because they're showing up in places no one asked them to be with content no one asked for. So the challenge today is not capturing people's attention. The challenge today is bridging this huge divide between where brands are and how they view media and where your audience is and how they view media. So on one side, you have brands who are puffed up like those big inflatable tube men, frantically waving their arms saying, look at me, buy my products and services. Let me tell you about my fabulous features and benefits. Please, please buy from me. And I can tell you, I've literally received emails where brands are begging for me to buy from them. But on the other hand, you have consumers your audience, the very audience you're trying to reach, who are creating, sharing, engaging with content. So there's a huge divide between where brands are and where consumers are. How can we fix this? How can we bring them together? How can you get closer to the audience that you're trying to reach? Well, come with me, I have some ideas. To close the distance between marketers and the audience that you're trying to attract, you need to ditch the attention economy and market like a bridge brand. So let me explain. Instead of pleas for attention, your marketing can be a bridge to help your audience get to a better place. So we all want to improve. We all want to get to a better place in our lives. No one wants to stay in place and be static. That's why we buy things, whether or not it's a hammer or a complex piece of B2B technology. We buy those things in the hopes that they will take us to a better place, help us progress, advance our business goals, all of those things. So instead of competing in an attention economy or using marketing to get attention, your marketing can be a bridge to help your audience go from where they are now to where they want to be. And to help explain this a little more, I want to introduce you to Amy and Dion. Amy is the founder of Tibi, a women's fashion brand, and Dion is one of their stylists. And they started an IG Live called Style Class. But what they did was really interesting because it wasn't just about selling clothes, it was about helping their audience become better at identifying what clothes would make them feel like themselves. So they discovered an anxiety that women had around buying clothes, that they wanted to feel modern and sophisticated, but they felt like when they followed trends, it felt awkward and kind of costumey, when all they wanted to do was feel comfortable in their clothes, was to feel like themselves. And so the Style Class literally helped women get from a place of anxiety around clothing and dressing to a place of comfort and confidence. So how did they do that? First of all, they defined the Tibi style and they named it. It's called being a creative pragmatist. So a creative pragmatist is a woman who wants to be comfortable. Her clothes need to be functional for all the different kinds of things she does in her life, but it should still be modern and interesting. It should have some sort of creative aspect to it. And so to help define what a creative pragmatist was for their IG Live audience, Amy and Dion invented a series of words, literally a Tibi vocabulary. So they coined terms like CMC, chill modern classic, which is really what sums up the kind of balance that a creative pragmatist is going for. WOOFs, WOFs, without fails. Those pieces in your wardrobe that you can wear all year long to a variety of things. One ton none, that describes how a creative pragmatist uses color. And so to kind of bring these ideas to life, they didn't use professional fashion models. It was Amy and Dion actually modeling the clothes themselves. They have very different body types, and they were able to show how Tibi clothes looked on these different body types. In fact, they pulled in other staff and even interns at Tibi to try on clothes for these style classes to show women how to put things together. And what was really interesting was it wasn't about just pushing clothes, though of course they wanted people to buy Tibi clothes. They also taught women how to shop in their own closet. So these were principles of a creative pragmatist style that can be applied to anything. So they encourage women to shop their closet and evaluate their clothes using this kind of creative pragmatist framework. The other really interesting thing about them is they weren't saying that, a creative pragmatist was good and other kinds of dressing was bad. They weren't trying to make any kind of moral judgments. They were basically just saying, look, if you want to wear white skinny jeans with wedges and a navy and white striped shirt, go for it. That's great. But that's not a creative pragmatist. A creative pragmatist dresses in a different way. They also listened to feedback from the audience. So they opened up their DMs and they were constantly responding to people's questions and really allaying their fears in that way. And then they would repurpose those responses, make them public in IG stories. And then they would also take those questions and make them the focus of style classes. So you had classes devoted to how to go from, day to evening, how to dress for a vacation when you're going to a place where kind of the climate and environment is totally different from where you live. They did another class around, how to show up to your kid's soccer practice without looking like a schlub, right? Because you still want to look put together. So all of these things were topics that they had on their IG lives with really focused on not just their customer, but the progress they were trying to make, the barriers that were in their way and where they wanted to get to, and really showed them how to overcome those barriers and become that comfortable and confident person in their clothes that they want to be. And that's what makes Tibi a bridge brand. They acknowledge their audience's anxieties and fears around dressing. They showed them how to overcome them. They gave them the tools to be confident around their decisions around dressing so that they could become the kind of person in the kind of clothes that they wanted to be. The concept of a bridge brand requires a fundamental shift from what you're selling to who you're selling to. But don't mistake this as the latest iteration of customer-centric marketing. It goes much deeper than that because it's a shift from your goals to your customers' goals. Instead of marketing better products and services, with bridge brand marketing, you're marketing a better customer. You're marketing the progress that you can help your audience achieve. That's why Tibi is a bridge brand. They didn't design better fashion. That's not why their IG audience increased or why they sold more clothes. All of those things happened because they fashioned better customers. They were a bridge brand. So in addition to marketing better customers, another important facet of marketing like a bridge brand is marketing to the moment. No longer are you beholden to the paid, earned, owned, shared media model that's been at the heart of marketing and advertising since it started in the early 20th century. That's gone. Instead, you focus on creating content that is seamlessly integrated into the spaces where you show up. So you no longer have to endlessly compete and generate content everywhere for everyone. You can take a much more surgical approach to your marketing, what I call marketing to the moment. So Tibi did this by showing up on Instagram as part of a native feature, IG Live, and showing up with content that people expected to find on that platform. They were marketing to the moment. So in addition to marketing better customers, marketing to the moment, to be a bridge brand, you also have to think forces, not funnels. So Tibi showed us that persuasion was not about lassoing someone's attention and dragging them through some artificially predictable marketing funnel. Instead, persuasion is about removing barriers to action and showing people how progress can be made. It's about those emotional forces. Think forces, not funnels. So on the one hand, you have forces that keep you in place. Things like just being happy with the way things are. You're satisfied. There's no reason to look elsewhere. Or anxiety, fear around change. Both of those things can hold you in place. And by the way, both of those things are also your competitors. Those are things that you compete against when you're trying to reach your audience. In addition to those forces that hold you in place, there are also forces that push people to action. One is that you've discovered that your current solution just isn't working anymore, and so you seek a different solution. Another is that you're shown a better future, a better way to do things, a better experience, and so you have a reason to shift. And so Tibby showed us too, right? They didn't talk, as most fashion brands do, about trends or how great their clothes were. They focused on the forces that mattered most to their customers, the anxiety that kept them in place, and the progress, the comfort and confidence that they were looking to find. It was forces, not funnels. So, to market like a bridge brand, market a better customer, focus on the progress that you can help your customers make, market to the moment, show up in a way that is authentic, that is highly attuned to the context of your marketing, and finally, think forces, not funnels. Focus on those emotional forces that keep people in place and push them to action. So let's look at a few other brands who have ditched the attention economy and are marketing like a bridge brand. Is it ready yet? That's something I always find myself saying whenever I go to boil water for pasta. I don't know what it is, but it always seems to take so long. Enter Barilla times Spotify. They have teamed up to create playlists that are perfectly timed to the time it takes to cook pasta. So whether it's mixtape spaghetti or moody day linguine, they have a playlist that will help you cook pasta to perfection. I call these sorts of collaborations brand besties. It's when two companies come together who do two totally different things, but complement each other, and together can reach an audience and create an experience for them that they couldn't have done separately. So I think this Barilla Spotify collaboration is just a great example of bridge brand marketing because it's really focused more on helping the audience become better pasta cookers and have a better time doing it than it is on selling, a certain playlist or selling a certain kind of pasta. They're really showing up in a way that's marketing to the moment, being very aware of the context in which their product is being used by the customer and creating an experience that enhances that moment. And again, they're playing with forces at play that help us make a decision or not. It's clear that by using this collaboration that we can have a better experience cooking pasta and it doesn't come across as so boring as it once was. So Barilla times Spotify, great example of bridge brand marketing. So brands can get a little touchy about their IP. Nike, Little Nas X, taking them to court. But what if, instead of being obsessed and so litigious with protecting your brand, that you empowered your audience? So TikTok went wild when Harry Styles wore this knitted cardigan, and people were so amazed that they started making their own versions of the sweater and posting them on TikTok. The sweater was made by a fashion designer named J.W. Anderson. It retailed for $1,600. Now, I don't think Harry Styles fans were running out to buy the sweater, right? They were knitting their own. Now, J.W. Anderson could have tried to, squash this out and try to put a stop to it, but instead, they did something completely opposite. They actually published the pattern for the sweater online so that all of Harry Styles' rabid fans could knit their own sweater for themselves. This is a fantastic example of a bridge brand because, as I talked about earlier, in many ways, people are more interested in creators and what they have to say than they are about brands. Clearly, J.W. Anderson knew this and was playing into this. And so by releasing the pattern online, he was allowing Harry Styles fans to show their passion more wildly, to become better knitters and really embrace their passion. So a keen understanding of the context, they were marketing to the moment, they were marketing better customers, helping fans embrace their passion and show off their passion even more. And they were playing with the forces at play instead of trying to protect their own IP, they were giving it out so that people could share their passion. J.W. Anderson, Harry Styles, great example of marketing like a bridge brand. How do you take on the Goliaths in your industry? You say the quiet part out loud. We've all done it, right? We want to support local businesses, but it is so easy and convenient to buy from Amazon. So if you're the American Booksellers Association, what do? How do you convince people to understand what's at stake when you let convenience drive your shopping decision? Well, their answer was a campaign called Boxed Out. They decorated the exteriors of local bookshops to look like big cardboard boxes, emblazoned with bold statements like, buy books from people who love books, not from people who want to colonize the moon. Buy books curated by real people, not by creepy algorithms. Support your local bookstore so that they don't become works of fiction. The entire campaign did a great job working on forces, not funnels, to show what's at stake when you let convenience drive your shopping decisions. It also was an interesting twist on Market a Better Customer because it really helped people understand how, the shopper that they aim to be, they envision for themselves, and they really built a campaign to kind of show consumers that, help them be the consumer that they want to be. So another great example of bridge brand marketing is the American Booksellers Association Boxed Out campaign. We know that people are more likely to listen to one another rather than brands. So why not create a platform that lets them do just that? Little Spoon is a company that makes healthy food for kids so that parents feel confident about the food that they're feeding to their babies and small children. But really what they're selling is community. Everything that Little Spoon does has been informed by parents. Rather than a boring corporate FAQ section, the questions and the answers have been provided by parents. They even host in-person events so parents can meet one another. They even have customer service representatives who are actual parents, actual customers, so that when you call them up, you're talking to someone just like themselves. They're a great example of bridge brand marketing because they're literally doing everything they can to help their audience be more capable and confident parents. And what's even more amazing is because they have gathered so much feedback and information from parents, they use all of that to inform the development of products, platforms, all their other offerings. So it's a total feedback loop. So Little Spoon is just a fabulous example of a bridge brand helping their audience become better parents, marketing to the moment, providing platforms so that parents can engage with them in ways that are most comfortable for them. Want to avoid the attention trap? Market like a bridge brand. First, market better customers. Show your customers that you understand the obstacles and barriers in their way and that you can help them make the progress they're looking to achieve. Market to the moment. Show up contextually. Have a surgical-like approach to your marketing. And finally, think forces, not funnels. Focus on the forces that can hold your customers in place or prompt them to action. So thank you again for joining me today. I hope you learned a lot about bridge brand marketing, this new approach to demand generation and marketing. And if you'd like to learn more, which I hope you do, you can follow me on Twitter and LinkedIn. If there's anything I can do to be of service or if I can help you in any way, just let me know. Hope to see you soon.
We are take 11, scene 11, take 1.
Scene 11, take 1.
And action.
I have, shoot.
Oh, that was good.